Right, but in terms of it.
in terms of it.
Good. Hello, world. This is Edward Bevilacqua. I am the editor of La Voce, Ciao Tutti, and with the Italian American Club, and I have the great privilege to be speaking to Ralph Carullo, MD, here in Las Vegas. Thank you, Ralph. Doctor. Should I call you Doctor or Ralph?
Ralph.
Okay. Thank you, Ralph, for taking the time. I know that you're busy. You're in a busy part of town, right across from the hospital, and so let me just jump right in, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good. What part of Italy is your family from?
My father's from Abruzzo, a small town called Orsonia, and my mother's from province of Salerno. The town's name is Mercato San Severino.
Okay, so my family's from Abruzzo, and we talked a little bit about that. And, you know, they're from L'Aquila. That's where my grandparents were both from. My cousins now live in Pescara. And you've been there.
Yes.
What's that like?
Pescara is a modern city on the beach.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful. I like to call it the Miami of the Adriatic.
Okay, good. And so what part of Italy do you like best?
All of Italy.
All of Italy?
Beautiful. Yes.
Okay. Do you spend much time in the north?
Mostly between Rome, Abruzzo, and Campania area.
Okay, okay. Have you been up to any of the lakes? Like Lake Como, Lake Maggiore?
I drove by it when I went to Milan, yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So tell us about your upbringing. Where did your family come? When they left Italy, who was that?
Both my mother and father.
Your mother and father left Italy. So were you born here?
I was born in New York, yes.
Okay. So you're first generation.
Yes.
And your parents moved to where in New York?
My father to Astoria, Queens, in New York, and my mother initially to Bronx.
Okay. And you were born where?
In Queens.
Queens. And is that where you grew up?
I grew up in Astoria, yes.
So I don't have any good New York geography. I don't know what that means.
In Queens.
Okay. So where's Wall Street from there?
Astoria, Queens is right across the river from Manhattan.
Okay.
So it's a couple of stops by the subway.
All right. So does that mean you're a Yankees fan or a Mets fan?
I'm a Yankees fan.
Okay. Is everybody from there a Yankees fan? Astoria. How about Giants or Jets?
Giants.
Okay, got it. How about basketball?
That's sort of up for grabs now that there's a new Brooklyn team, but for now it's still the Knicks.
Okay. And there's only one hockey team, right?
Or Rangers or the Islanders.
Okay. So which team?
Rangers.
Okay. Good. Is that what most people are?
I really didn't grow up watching American sports. It was mostly
soccer.
Okay,
good. What did your dad do for a living?
My father imported from Italy, mostly furniture, antiques.
Huh. So how did that come about? How did it come about that he came here?
My aunt was getting married when I was already living with my uncle, and my grandfather decided it's best to keep the family united, and they all immigrated to the United States.
So where one goes, we all go. Son-in-law.
Yes.
Your uncle. Okay.
We all love him.
Okay. What did he do?
He worked basically in the art galleries in Manhattan.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so your dad was an importer of furniture?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. And was it his business?
It was, yes, it was his business.
Okay.
Started with my mother.
And so what kind of furniture? Like leather?
Pretty much the antique gallery pieces.
Oh, okay. So expensive stuff, not stuff that a typical person has.
It's very unique. Expensive, yes.
Okay.
All custom.
So does that mean your dad was well educated? Like, did he have a degree in something like that? Okay.
And he began college. Then he had an accident, but then. So then.
Was that over in Italy?
No, that was while working at a restaurant in New York.
Oh wow. Huh.
And then took some time off, and then decided that he wanted to pursue the art world.
Okay. And so how old are the antiques? Is this like Renaissance?
The reproductions to bring to the United States are mostly of the Renaissance era.
Okay.
Or neoclassical.
Okay. Is that in your house?
No, actually, I think from seeing it every day at work, both my parents.
Oh, so we're going to go to IKEA.
Pretty much whatever they like, but they kept their work at work. And
I see. So your mother worked with your dad?
yes,
Okay. And your grandmother was here?
both my grandparents.
Okay. So like, did your grandmother cook?
Yes,
Okay. I mean, like your mother went to work and your grandmother would be home cooking?
yes,
Okay. Wow. Cool. And so you're a doctor now, and what exactly type of doctor?
family medicine.
Family medicine. Okay. And how is the business here?
Excellent.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But when did you decide you wanted to be a doctor?
Since I was small, my parents, when I was very young, would say I always had an interest in medicine. They used to tell me stories. I used to find animals that were injured in the street and bring it home, and
You'd operate on them?
not operate, but sort of nourish them back to
Okay.
health.
Broken wing or something?
Yes,
Oh,
which was common growing up.
okay. So how do you feel about St. Francis of Assisi?
I think St. Francis is a great sort of role model as far as helping
Okay.
sick and poor.
Uh-huh. Okay. That was a good guess on my part, right?
And Franciscan order. I tend to also like Padre Pio.
Okay. Have you been to his place there? Oh, yeah. So have I. So have I.
Awesome. I've been to Pietrelcina and San Giovanni Rotondo.
Okay. Which is the one where he used to actually be?
San Giovanni Rotondo
Okay.
in Foggia.
We have so I've been there one time, and there's a pew with a little plaque, but there's like 10,000 little plaques that have your family name. So we have one of those in the church. And I was lucky. My grandfather back in the 50s, early 50s, they went back there, and they were from Abruzzi. He had the opportunity to spend a half hour with Padre Pio alone. And he never went to church before that, but after that, he never missed going to church. So, now, did you go to a or
No, I did not.
Jesuit?
No.
Did you consider Jesuit?
I do like their philosophy.
Okay. So
Actually, I went to St. John's University, so that is
St. John's is, where is that?
in New York.
New York. Is that now let's see, Fordham is back there, right?
Fordham is in the Bronx.
Okay, and that's Jesuit. Is St. John's Jesuit?
I
Or?
believe so.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, good. So we have something else in common, because I went to Jesuit University in California, called Santa Clara. So when you were young, you wanted to do it, so was education important for you?
Always emphasized and overemphasized.
By your parents?
Yes, and
Good.
grandparents, and basically all my extended family.
Okay. And do you have sisters, brothers?
I have a brother who's in law school currently, and I have a sister in the middle.
Okay. And so education was important in your family.
Yes.
What other cultural things were growing up?
I always tend to remember the religious holidays.
Okay.
Always, for example, this Christmas at our house, we hosted 50 family members.
Wow.
But it's always been, the numbers grows every year, hopefully with the growing family, cousins having children. But I always remember my distant family always coming together, which was not
Sure.
distant in our culture. It seemed like your father's cousin was your uncle, part of our lives.
Yeah, same with me. Now, when you say we hosted or we had, do you mean here?
In New York.
So you still say that's where the center for you is mentally, like
Families.
you're out here, but when you say we, it's
I feel like I'm a satellite here, part
Okay.
of.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that. So let's see. Family very important, obviously. Education important. What else?
I would say faith.
Faith. Okay. Church,
It's
yeah, the religious holidays.
very important. And family always emphasized culture and language.
Mhm.
Always try to speak in Italian more than in dialect in our house because my parents came from two different parts, so I had no choice but to speak Italian to each other.
Okay.
And being part of the community.
Uh-huh.
also very
So hard work.
very hardworking.
Because your parents worked hard, their
Very hard.
business, and is that something that
Yeah, I
helped you
think,
get through medical school?
yes, yes. Luckily, I had the support of my family, which I have great debt for helping me get this far.
So I went to law school, and I only know about medical school from TV. Is it like on TV, like Grey's Anatomy?
A little less traumatic, I think,
Okay.
and a little bit more work, but
Okay, so it's not easy.
not easy at all.
Does the hard part start when you're out of law school? I mean, medical school, and you're doing your internship or whatever?
I think, yeah, residency is
Your residency.
difficult. It's actual lot of studying, but it's a lot of hours and physical work versus medical school is more studying.
Yeah.
So staying up the long nights and comforting and caring for people.
So is the ability, do they really want to push you to your physical limits for medical school, for
Yes.
residency?
Yes, and I think that's very important.
Okay, why is that?
I always felt the best learning I had as far as being able to stay and make decisions were when you had to make that decision.
Okay. So being under pressure
Yes.
and just having sort of, I don't want to call it adversity, but I'll just say, I guess, under pressure.
Under
You know,
pressure.
when you're tired, you're fatigued. But, and I think that's like Navy SEALs. Navy SEAL training is for 1 week. They call it Hell Week. And they really don't let you sleep, maybe an hour or 2 hours. And you're consuming about 7,000 calories a day. So that's physically taxing, right? You're
Yes.
burning 7,000 calories and you're getting 2 hours sleep.
I do remember staying up and eating a lot during residency. It was a way of keeping awake. But yeah, it's a great experience, and I would do it again if I had to because I got a lot out of it.
Okay, and what brought you here?
I met my wife in medical school. We got married, and we settled in Chicago.
Okay. Is that where you went to school?
I did my residency there,
Okay.
and then we worked after residency. Then we had a baby, and her family have been in Las Vegas for 15 years.
Okay. Is she Italian?
No, she's not.
What is she?
Pakistani.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting combination.
Very.
Does she speak Urdu?
She speaks Urdu.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and basically similar sense of family.
Right.
Values.
So it wasn't like you were
perfect.
marrying an Irish person.
It was very similar.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I think from not understanding the culture from outside, once I understood the culture, it is very similar as far as family values and.
I get what you're saying because last week we interviewed Joe Dervadian from Angelina's Pizza. He's and his wife is from Armenia. He's probably about your age, but we were talking about what they do on Sunday dinners, and it's very much like what we do, except they drink cognac instead of wine. But a very family type thing. I mean, they don't miss. They're Orthodox Christians. Church is very important. Sunday, but they also do a Thursday thing, which is just their family, and then they do Sundays, which is Italian style, but a lot of drinking, a lot of toasting. So, okay, so her family was here.
Yes.
She went to college here or high school here?
She went to UNLV.
Okay.
And then we both went to medical school in England.
Oh, cool.
And we met there.
And how was it going to medical school in England? One of those have your...
No, not Hanover. We went to Cambridge.
Okay.
Enjoyed it. It was different, but I was used to the European sort of mindset because my parents
Sure.
were very fortunate, used to have me go to Italy every summer or every other summer whenever it was possible with my grandparents for 2-3 months.
Okay.
So I always wanted to go anywhere in Europe to.
Sure. Now, how about Cambridge, Oxford? When you meet guys from Oxford, is it like, oh well, sorry, you went to number 2, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
Because I had friends that went to Oxford, and they say the opposite of that.
Bit of rivalry between the two.
Which one is older?
think it is Cambridge.
Okay, that's what the Cambridge guys always say.
Yeah.
So, and that was a good experience?
It was great. Yeah.
And how was it? Was it different than here? Like when you had to do residency or the process?
I think what I found to be different was even from college, the respect for professors and the actual respect for I think they find it more of a privilege to I think the culture behind the studies are a little different.
I see. Yeah, I could imagine. See, I couldn't imagine going to law school in England because it's just such a difference.
It's pretty much.
Now, let me ask you, this is totally off topic, but we have these things called microbes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So microbes is better sounding, is that?
I'll accept both.
Okay, but is it, like, to me, it seems like germs are always bad, right?
Yes.
Okay. So is it
any microscopic organisms or microbes have pathogenic and benign.
But pathogens are bad.
Yes.
Some microbes are good, right? For digestion or.
Yes.
Okay. And is that, when you were in school, was that a big thing? Microbes could be good, or they are good, or they can be good?
Yeah, I think we did. They emphasized that also.
Okay. Now, would you agree that most people think all germs are bad?
I would say yes, just from
cleaning products, everything kills 9.999% of all germs.
Yes.
And I understand that there's like, I was watching a TED Talk, that there's about, was it 10 times more microbes on you than you have cells?
We are pollinated by microbes, yes.
Okay. So it wouldn't be good if you had no microbes, right?
That would not
like on your skin?
No, that would not be.
You could if you didn't have them in your gut, right?
We would not be able to digest properly.
Okay. So that would be bad.
Yes.
And eventually you'd probably die, or it just would be really weak?
Well, I could see malabsorption and malnutrition.
Okay. Even if you're eating the right foods?
It has to be digested.
Yeah. Okay. Can't just eat a banana and have it not digested. Doesn't really work that way.
No.
Okay.
So yeah, we depend. It's basically a beneficial relationship for both us and microbes.
So do you ever watch TED Talks? Professional people talking in front of large groups about stuff that's interesting to them. This TED Talk was about microbes affect our behavior because of digestion. If you don't have proper digestion, your brain isn't going to function properly. If your brain doesn't function properly, then your behavior is not going to be good. Does that theory sound about right? I mean, it's very simplistic.
I could see it on the complicated level.
Okay.
With prolonged periods, it would have to be a chronic issue. Yeah, I could see that being an issue.
Okay. So now here's another interesting thing. It's that the microbes in your mouth are very, very, very different than the microbes in your gut.
Yes, I would say.
Okay. Now the microbes in your mouth are closer to the microbes in my mouth than the microbes in your gut to your mouth.
That sounds.
Does it?
Right.
Huh, okay. All right. Right again. So we've kind of gone far afield. Where we were was coming to Las Vegas. How old were you the first time you came here?
I was 26.
Okay. And what did you feel when you first saw Las Vegas? You're on a plane, right? You didn't drive?
We're on a plane. I remember seeing the lakes, and I did not imagine there being a large body of water. And I thought, am I on the right plane going to the right destination? because even looking at the maps, I didn't realize that there were lakes by here. And I thought, wow, it totally reminded me of Abruzzo. Just a little,
okay, less green,
but it had the mountain feeling and the warmth of.
What time of year was this?
This was around April, May.
Okay, so first, strange, am I in the right place? Then it was, this kind of looks familiar, like starting to feel comfortable.
Yes.
And then you're looking out the airplane window, right?
Mm-hmm.
And were to see the city before you?
I was able to see what quickly drew my eyes was the Venetian.
Okay.
Since I'd been to Venice, we were flying close to it. I saw it, and
What was your first reaction to
I
that?
was like, wow, they got it almost spot on.
Okay. I've heard from a lot of interviews that people have said people come from Italy and they are proud of how good it looks, as opposed to thinking it's a cheap imitation.
I'm proud that they actually picked a great city to model a casino.
Sure. And some of the construction guys we interviewed said, the difference between here and other places around the world, like Dubai, where they have things that you don't build anywhere else. We build things here that you don't really see anywhere else in the world. He said, but when you get to Dubai, when you get within 10 feet, the craftsmanship is not good. But they said, like at the Venetian, you get right up to it, and it's high quality stuff. It's not just thrown together.
I would second that.
Okay, good. And that's important in your business, right?
Yes.
Having things actually be as good as they look.
Yes, it's very important.
Yeah, the body can't just look good on the outside.
No. I tend not to like facades.
Okay.
I think the internal structure has to match.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So and you say, wow, that's almost spot on. And then you land. The weather's nice, right? It wasn't hot.
And I didn't have to worry about looking at the weather forecast.
Okay.
You told me it's sunny.
And what about bugs?
No issues with bugs versus New York.
Yeah.
You get sort of eaten alive.
And so your first day here, would your in-laws pick you up at the airport, or were you married at that time?
It was actually meeting my in-laws.
Oh, so you're nervous.
Very.
Okay. And where did you go to dinner? Their house?
We ate at their house and then went out to the Strip.
Okay.
And
the whole family?
My father came with me, and we actually decided to go to the Venetian.
Because you really wanted to see.
I really wanted to see it.
You want to go, and you said, "Can we go to the Venetian?"
Yes.
Okay. And so when you first walked in, how did you feel?
I actually thought I was in Italy for a second.
Really?
Because my father comes from business here. He usually comes every 3 or 4 months.
That works out well.
Yeah, I get to see him. Actually, I get to see him more as I'm living here in Las
sure.
Vegas than when I was living in Chicago.
Yeah, medical school.
Yes.
Okay.
So he knew the Venetian well, and there was an ice cream place, gelateria, which was excellent. Gelato, and then we had espresso. And
now, is that up near the canal shops?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been to the Trattoria Reggiano?
Yes, I have been.
How is that?
Excellent.
How good is it really?
Excellent.
Okay, good, because our one of our great friends and supporters for the paper is the Bonanno family, and they own Trattoria Reggiano.
Oh, excellent.
And 50 other restaurants. They just opened one in Summerlin. Yesterday was the grand opening. I was there with Nolan Bushnell, who is the inventor of Pong and creator of Atari and Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater, and talking about the restaurant business. But so by Italian standards, how would you say Trattoria Reggiano is? How do you pronounce it?
Trattoria Reggiano.
Trattoria. Okay. Reggiano. Okay. So how would it be if that was in Italy?
I would still go at least.
Would the Italian people say this is as good or better?
I would say as good.
Okay, that's what they try. Their Jack Belrusso is, I think, he's from Sicily. Their main guy that is restaurant concepts and menus, recipes, training, and he really takes it very seriously. And with 550 restaurants and 900 employees, they take pride in what they do.
I find it difficult to pick something from their menu.
Do you? Okay.
Yes.
So yesterday we had the eggplant roti, I think is what it was.
Sounds excellent.
And then he said, well, let's have, first they have meatballs, and their meatballs are different because they're made with filet. So really good meat, a little bit of pork, and the flavor's good. Their sauce is great. Then we had calamari, which is kind of like everybody here likes that. And that was good, not soggy, not too dried out crunchy, just, very good. Do they have that calamari? Is that common in Italy?
I would
Maybe
say in the
Pescara?
south.
Okay, especially in the south.
Especially in the south.
Yeah.
I think others from it's mostly fish and vongole or like clams.
Okay.
So
Okay. And then we had linguine with truffles. And
that is a little more common for our Abruzzo area also, but
okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it was great. And did you live over on that side, the west side?
I live southwest.
Southwest, okay. Well, it's in downtown Summerlin. It was the Trattoria. Say it again. Trattoria. So I put the emphasis on the front, but I'm going to do it the true Italian way. So so that was a good night.
Yes.
Your first night, the Venetian gelato.
And gelato, it was great, and everything is a little more relaxing with an espresso. So especially at night, it was actually felt comforting to be in a new city with the surrounding that familiar.
Okay. So, okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, I could get that. I could get if I went somewhere and there was a building and it had stuff that I had been brought up to think this is how it is. This is the way we do things. I can see that would be comforting. And so does your wife like Italian food?
Yes.
Does your wife cook? What's the main Pakistani staple? Like pasta?
Would be
Rice.
Rice, like basmati rice and keema, which is the meat
Okay.
sauce.
Do they use turmeric?
Yes, they do.
Okay. I heard it's septic. Is that true?
Yes, it's actually very beneficial
Huh.
to have turmeric.
What if you have an open wound?
They do use that for open wounds as well.
Okay, but I understand it stains shirts or something.
It does stain.
So not really practical.
If you cover the wound, it
Okay.
does help.
And
it does dry. I do remember in Italy they used a white powder. It was like penicillin based, but it was pretty much similar concept of the turmeric.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. And so would you say you like being here?
I love being here.
Love being here? Okay. So let's talk about that. We talked a little bit at the beginning about the Italian tradition.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
For example, last year I made homemade wine. My oldest son, who's 5 now.
Okay. Did he like it?
He loved the whole process of
I
it.
mean the wine.
The wine part didn't even have fermented wine, but the
Oh.
must he did have some, the grape juice.
Okay.
He enjoyed it. Just we went to
The whole thing.
California, picked up grapes, drove back.
He stomped them.
We basically did everything by hand, the way my grandfather used to do it.
Huh. Was that like with the press or?
With the press, looked like a barrel, and basically had it ferment. But the grape juice part, both kids loved it. So, but they understood. I told them that this is what I used to, and with my father, and they just enjoy that whole idea.
Sure.
Especially my oldest, he's at that age where he understands pretty much the importance of family, because that's what we try to bring that forward.
Sure.
So he always asks, "What did you do when I was my age?" or my grandfather.
Right.
But both.
That's good. That's
good. And he gets both. So but we were able to do wine. I tried to do. We made cheese, mozzarella, homemade mozzarella. Pasta. It's a long process, but we tried. We did not complete. It took a little longer than I liked, but we do make homemade pizza.
Okay.
So we try to do things that I remember my grandparents doing, and try to show my children now that they're still young. Appreciate it now.
Well, that's cool. So since he doesn't get to drink wine my hunch is then you don't do limoncello.
Not. My mother does.
Okay. Now, when I was growing up, we started learning to drink like from the beginning. So it would be water with it and on up. Did you do that too?
Yes.
Okay. But you're not doing that
No.
because you're a doctor?
No. I just, I know my
You don't
kids. They will definitely go to school and say.
You don't want to knock on the door. What's up? What's up, doc?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
But I do give them grape juice, so so they sort of have that idea. But
so why isn't alcoholism a problem with Italians, like with French? Is it because they grew up learning, or is it a genetic thing?
I think the alcoholism itself can be genetic, but the culture itself is, I think especially in kids that we see taking care of patients is if something's difficult to obtain,
it's more valuable. You want it.
It's more valuable, and they would go
seek it.
And I think that's sort of
and
an
then
issue.
You don't know how to handle it, so you then abuse it.
And I grew up and would say that's enough, and you would sort of feel the effect, and you realize it's not that big of a thing.
Yeah,
and
it's not like the stories you hear about Russia, where they have the bottle of vodka and your dad is just drinking until
it's just
blanked out.
I used to always say just to give a little extra taste to the food would be enough. That's all you need.
Now, what about sambuca in your espresso? Do you do that?
I prefer amaretto, but no.
Okay, so Frank Bonanno, Trattoria Reggiano, when he orders espresso after lunch, he'll say that to the waiter, bring some sweetener, and that's code for sambuca. But it's not really code because when they put the glass on, it's obvious what it is. So amaretto. What about frangelico?
I like frangelico. I have that at home as well.
Okay.
But I have a mixture of all the coffee.
Okay. And how about wine? Do you drink wine?
Yes, I do.
At home, or just when you go out?
At home.
Does your wife like wine?
Yes.
What do Pakistanis drink?
They make pretty good beer in Pakistan.
Do they?
Yes.
Huh. Okay, so I guess I could see hot climate, beer would be good. What else do they? Like, does your father-in-law drink anything special?
No.
And wine, Italian or Californian?
Italian.
Okay.
But
you go to Trader Joe's?
Yes.
You ever buy Bola?
Bola's excellent.
Okay, so that guy's a friend of the club, Gaetano D'Aquino. He's from Sicily, and they supply most of the wine to Trader Joe's, and they have for a long, long time. And the Bola, have you had the Bola, the red wine?
Yes.
Okay. That's like $2.99. The $2 chuck of Italian. Have you had that?
I don't think I had that one.
They don't have it anymore because a couple of years ago they sort of ran out of the inexpensive wine in Italy, and they don't have a lot of $2 chuck. But so I wanted to get your opinion of how is $2 Italian wine.
I don't think you go wrong. Reserves.
Okay. So how is business here in Las Vegas?
I think it's excellent. When we first came here 4 years ago, I think we felt a little bit of the economy. I think our business with being in medicine is that if the unemployment is down, then that can also equal to not having health insurance, which can be a problem, which we're seeing less of.
And now, are you open like till 11 p.m.? I've seen some places that are open really late.
Open until 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Is this your practice, or are you part of a group?
It's my wife and I.
Oh, good. Good. And so, what is your father-in-law? Is he a doctor?
Engineer.
Okay, so he's a professional. And how did you guys think about opening your own medical practice?
I think that was always our goal.
Okay, entrepreneurial?
Yes.
And you an environment like that with your family?
Yes. And my mother-in-law has her private practice.
Okay. What is she? She's a
pediatrician.
Pediatrician.
Yes.
Okay. So she was able to help you.
Yes. Shared office.
Okay.
for the first.
But just in
year.
terms of how the system works here, how they do things in Las Vegas.
Absolutely, she was definitely very important as far as guiding us.
And is it pretty straightforward to open a medical practice here?
No, it's difficult because contracting could be a little difficult, especially if you're going to the primary care field. But I think the upfront cost is sort of it can inhibit a lot of people.
Okay. But isn't one of the problems here in Las Vegas we don't have enough doctors?
Yes.
So that would make me tend to think that a lot of people would want to come here. Do you find that you must be part of like the Las Vegas Association or something? Or do they have such a thing here?
I do think so, but we're not part of any.
Okay. Do you guys have your own newspaper or anything?
We do send out newsletters.
No, but I mean the doctors community.
Yes, just mostly through the state medical board.
Oh, okay.
And then the private journals that we read.
Okay. What's the quality of medical care here?
It's improving. I think
like going from a D to a C, or is it like C to B or B to A, or?
I would say a C to a B.
Okay.
To be fair. I think coming from Chicago, which was a university sort of background medical system.
Sure.
When we first came here, we found that there was less support from the university program. Starting to change.
Okay. Yeah. And well, I have only one more question because I'm sensitive to time, and I know that your people are waiting for you to get out there. And having been a patient, I don't want to feel guilty that the patients can't see you, but so I have one more question, and then if you'd like to say your family in Italian, that would be great, because I know that our other viewers would want to see it. So the question is, sauce or gravy?
I call it sauce.
Okay.
So the straight translation of salsa.
Okay. But a lot of people where you grew up call it gravy, right?
Yes. I would say what I realized the generation before us, so my father's age would call it gravy.
Do you know why they call it gravy?
I do not know.
Okay. But you learned at some point in your early life, when they say gravy, that doesn't mean brown stuff you put on turkey.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And well, Doctor, thank you very much. And if you'd like to please say something in Italian to the fantastic.
Un saluto a tutti, un saluto speciale ai miei genitori e parenti a New York and Italia. Ciao.
Okay. Actually, I have one more thing. There's a restaurant called Gina's Bistro. Have you been there?
No, I've not.
Okay, you should go there. It's a young guy, 24. He is from Genoa.
Okay.
His family, 5th generation restaurant people. His father has a Michelin star restaurant in Genoa, and it's up on Flamingo. It's near the 215.
Okay.
But it'd be great because he doesn't. There's not a lot of people who speak Italian here.
Excellent.
There's enough, but there's not.
Definitely.
His name is Ricky Santa Maria.
Okay.
Very good guy. I think you'd like him a lot.
I
know he will treat you great out there. Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Okay, world. Thank you.